Just found out my fiance's business trips were secret getaways with his ex. I was folding his shirts when I found the receipt. It was supposed to be a normal Wednesday. Ryan had just left for another business trip, his third this month, and I was tidying up the bedroom, trying to shake the itch in my chest that's been growing sharper with every suitcase he packs. His favorite navy blazer was slung over the chair, and as I went to hang it up, a slip of paper fluttered to the floor. The Whispering Pines Resort and Spa. A charge for $1,200 dated 2 weeks ago. Ryan had told me he'd been at a corporate retreat in Chicago that week, but Whispering Pines was hours north, a romantic couple spot we'd talked about visiting ourselves. My hands went cold. I'd ignored the signs for months. The sudden late-night meetings, the way he'd angle his phone screen away when I walked into the room, the new cologne he'd started wearing, musky, unfamiliar. When I'd asked about it, he'd laughed. Thought I'd try something fresh before the wedding. But this receipt, this was a crack in the glass. I pulled out my iPad, still logged into his iCloud from when we'd planned our honeymoon. His messages synced instantly. Samantha, 12:47 a.m. Can't wait for next weekend. Miss your voice. Ryan, 12:49 a.m. Same beautiful. Only 5 more days until I'm yours again. Samantha. His ex. The one he'd sworn he hadn't spoken to in years. Scrolling further felt like swallowing acid. Reservations at Michelin-starred restaurants we'd never splurged on. Selfies of them hiking, her head on his shoulder, captioned, "Third time's the charm." A photo of her wearing the necklace I'd picked out for him to give his future bridesmaids. He'd been meeting her every month. For months. Their trips overlapped perfectly with his work schedule. All those times I'd worried I was being paranoid, all those nights I'd texted him, "Hope your presentation went well," while he was... I stumbled into the bathroom and dry heaved over the sink. Our toothbrushes sat side by side in a holder shaped like a heart. We'd bought it on our first anniversary. When my best friend Jess answered my FaceTime call, her face fell the second she saw mine. Oh my God, what happened? I couldn't speak, just held up the receipt to the camera. Is that... He's been with Samantha, I whispered. The whole time. Jess came over with cheap wine and takeout, but I couldn't eat. She scrolled through the messages while I sat on the floor, replaying every lie. The way he kissed me goodbye at the airport, saying, "This is the last trip, I promise." The way he'd talk about our future kids as he packed his suitcase. "You have to confront him," Jess said firmly. But how? He wasn't due back until Friday. I spent the night wide awake, imagining them at some cozy cabin, him whispering the same sweet nothings he'd murmured to me days earlier. The next morning, my eyes bloodshot, I did the thing I'd sworn I'd never do. I drove to Samantha's Instagram. Private account, bio, taken by my person. Profile pic, her hand wearing a diamond ring. His family heirloom. I'd seen that ring once, tucked in his sock drawer. "Grandma's old thing," he'd said. "Keeping it safe until we pick yours. Our wedding is in 11 weeks. Jess thinks I should blow up his life, expose everything." Part of me wants to torch the venue deposits and send screenshots to his entire family. But another part, the stupid, hopeful part, keeps whispering, what if he loved me first? What if he'll choose me? He lands in 2 hours. My suitcase is already packed. TLDR. Fiancé's frequent business trips were actually romantic vacations with his ex. Found proof, and now I'm sitting in our empty apartment, waiting for him to come home. And explain.